Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of your one and only Tabitha show right here on Alta TV. My name is Tabitha Chibula, your host for today and always. We know that we are in a month that honors a certain category of people, Black History Month. So with me today, I have Miss Charlotte Nyungu. She is the founder of Curvy Diamond right here in Edmonton. She's here with me and she's gonna talk with me about what Black History Month means to her. How are you?
I'm doing good, Tabitha. How are you?
I'm doing great. So glad to have you here.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me on the show.
It's been a while, actually. Eh?
I know.
It's true. So, I mean, I know you because you're my girl, but they don't. So, who's Charlotte Nyungu from Curvy Diamond?
First of all, Charlotte is the child of Christ. I wasn't really raised in a Christian home, but God called me at a very young age. So Curvy Diamond meaning, I know it's shocked everybody because when people see curvy, they imagine, you know, the physical. But for me, I go deeper. Curvy Diamond means Christ's unique resurrection victory earns diamond. So it's a non-profit organization that focuses on anti-bullying and body image shaming. So we actually go as interventionists in the schools for kids that have gone through bullying. So we do prevention, intervention, and recovery. But then we use the word of God. Awesome. While they're going through the whole process. We only started last year. You sang at one of the shows. You were amazing.
Thank you.
So it's a blast.
Yes.
Okay, now we're here to talk about Black History Month.
Black History Month.
Okay.
Let's concentrate on the color of our skin for just a minute here. So is Black History Month important to you?
That's a tricky question, if Black History Month is important to me. I think it's good that we celebrate it. But personally, I think every race, every individual person should be celebrated every day because the life itself is a miracle. So the fact that you wake up, you can see, you can talk, you can hear, you can do everything, I think it should be celebrated every day. So that's just my intake on it.
So I know that we took some time to talk about kind of how this whole Black History Month started. You know, it actually kind of shocked me when I presented the subject to some people before today, and they had no idea what Black History Month was or the point of Black History Month. And earlier, when I had the little chat with you, you surprised me with certain things that I didn't even know about Black History Month. I mean, I think it's so nice that we get this opportunity to share with everybody else. So in the facts that you came up with, could you just briefly explain what Black History Month is, its history?
So Black History Month started because in the schools, the kids were taught that Black people were only slaves, and they were neglected. So they were not shown actually the great people that we had in history, that were Black people that founded amazing things and that fought for our freedom. Because back in the days, 400 years ago, we know that the Black people were slaves. So there is a great historian that I really like. His name is Carter J. Woodson. He is the one that founded the association, and they first of all started with Negro Week. It was a week. It wasn't even a month. It was celebrated for a week back in 1926. So he founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History.
3 years later.
Yeah. So the reason why he started the whole thing, he wanted the kids that were Black at the school not to feel like, oh my God, I'm a descendant of a slave. He wanted them to know that they come from people that are smart too, that are special, that are able to do great inventions, just like any other race. Right? Because the color doesn't determine, the degree or the level.
Intellectual level.
The intellectual level.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So the reason why he started it, and the reason why February was chosen is because of Abraham Lincoln, that we all know.
Which everybody knows, but the second one.
And then the second one is Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass was actually one of the men that escaped slavery in Maryland. He escaped slavery in Maryland, and he became the leader of the abolitionist movement in Massachusetts and New York. And that was a movement created to end slavery, period. Like, no man should be owned by any man, because that's the way we were labeled before.
Absolutely.
Like, for example, Tabitha, you be my owner of Charlotte, or Charlotte will be the owner of Tabitha, which I think is ignorance.
It is.
Definitely ignorance.
And sorry, just to cut you off a little bit, and I know some of you are probably wondering, okay, Abraham Lincoln, Frederick Douglass, how does that talk, or how does that prove, what am I trying to say? How does these two people bring up the fact that Black History Month has to be in February? And we found out that it's because both of their birthdays are in February, so that's why they chose
a February month.
Right, and they meaning Carter J. Woodson. He chose the month of February because both of their birthdays were there, and they were two very powerful men in Black history.
Yes, for sure.
Sorry.
That's in the States.
Yes.
So moving on, the United Kingdom as well, which is something that you brought up actually. They started the whole movement in 1926. Why only that area? Let's say it's celebrated in 1926. In the United Kingdom, years later, 1987, that's when they first celebrated the United Kingdom. One thing that I really love about this part is that they recognize a leader from Ghana. He was an analyst.
Wow.
An African man that started, he created the London Council in 1985. The London Council, where they went and, spoke about the rights of, the black race and how they should be implemented in the school. That's the part I like about the United Kingdom. Moving on to Canada, there are two great women that I love to talk about.
Yes,
One of them is Jean Augustine. Jean Augustine was the first African Canadian woman elected to the Canadian House of Commons.
That's awesome.
I love it in Ontario. Being a woman, I'm not a feminist, but I just love to see women that impact the society, because we are mothers and we teach our children and stuff. So I see that as a bold step, or to tell our girls that anything is possible. It's no longer about the gender. There's gender equality. There's race equality now.
True.
And the second one, mentioned by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, is Viola Desmond. Viola Desmond is the Black Canadian woman that refused to leave a white-only area at a theater movie in 1946.
Right.
So actually, when you look at the gap in the years in all the countries that I just mentioned,
they're quite huge.
They're quite huge. Only next year, she's actually going to be on a $10 bank note. So this is quite a progression. I wish we had more time to talk about all the people.
Think about it. So this whole movie theater scenario that brought such a movement in Canada happened in 1946, people. And then Black History Month was first celebrated almost 50 years after, in 1995.
In Canada, yes.
Now, I don't know why
it took that long.
It took 50 plus years, or 50 minus years, to get there. I don't know. I mean, if I was in the government back then, I don't know what I would do. But I don't understand why 50 years is necessary. Processing time, or I don't know. I'm confused.
I mean, the way I look at it is that we had to go from the mindset of people that thought that they were the race above us back in the days. Like somebody was like, I'm owning this person.
Right.
We're owned by God, all of us. All of us, period. He's the one that created us. He's the one that takes and gives away. Right? So I think that's why it took so long, because when the mind is so powerful, when somebody thinks that they're the head of something, and I think that's why it took long. Again, maybe that's when it was officially recognized, but I'm so happy to see all those changes and stuff, and I'm so happy to be born in this era. I think they would have killed me back then.
That's what I'm saying. Thank God, right?
Yes.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time to talk with us about this, but it is not finished.
Okay.
So in the Tabitha Show, we have a new segment called Yes, No, Maybe. So it's simply, I ask a few questions, and we both answer yes, no, or maybe. Okay, so first question is, do you think, you can grab your card if you're
Are you guys ready?
Are you ready for this? Do you think that Black History Month is useful?
Maybe.
Maybe. Why?
The reason why I'm saying maybe is there's so many great faces in the whole of, the historical whole of the race of Black people. I don't think 1 month is enough to celebrate us.
Okay, when you put
That's
it like
the
that,
reason
yeah,
why I said
absolutely.
maybe.
Cool.
I don't
Interesting.
think 1 month is enough. That's why I said maybe.
Awesome. So that's a good reason for maybe. Next question is, do you think it should be celebrated like we do now, or should it be improved? Do you think it should be celebrated like we do now?
Why did
No.
you say no?
I say that it should not be celebrated like we do now because we do not do enough, in my opinion. I think that just a couple singing celebrations, a couple walking down the aisle, and ooh, you're Black, you're cute, is not enough to talk about what we've been through. I think there should be much more things that bring intellectual purposes, things that bring information to younger generations too, because I feel like it's the older ones that are kind of, oh yeah, Black History Month, but youngsters have no clue what it is.
Yeah.
So that's why I said no. Why did you say maybe?
The reason why I said maybe, I have a question for you.
Yep.
You went to high school here in Canada.
I did.
Right? Do they have a specific course that actually talk about the impact of our leaders? When I say leaders, the people that impacted our history in school.
As in Black people? Not really, no.
The reason I said maybe, I think that's something that our school should be looking into. Because we have every race. And when I say it's not just about Black people, it should be every race.
Yes, absolutely.
They should have knowledge,
Every
where they
should,
come
yes.
from or how things started and stuff like that.
I agree.
That's the reason why I started maybe. And I'm going to take an example. I know the Prime Minister said Viola this month, not said, it's going to be implemented in a $10 banknote. But I think Canada-wise, they should probably educate people more.
Yeah.
About, who are the heads, what happened.
I'm sure some people don't even know who she is.
Yes.
So.
And talking about Edmonton, African Fashion Week was amazing, but I think they should also have a segment where they talk about these.
And educate.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure.
Absolutely. Second last question. Have you ever been mocked for Black History Month, or because of Black History Month, or because of being Black? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And actually, I think every Black person has been mocked for being Black. And the only reason I'm so concentrated on Black is because we're talking about Black History Month.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily just Black, but minorities in general have been mocked for who they are, their culture, their backgrounds. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm going to talk about personal experience. I always was very welcome in Canada when I moved here. But at the airport, there was a gentleman, I think he was Asian. Yeah, so he's the one that, he made a comment at the airport, and I just told him, God bless you. Because I really don't have time. I experienced love of God, so that's how I took it. I know some other people will take it, but because I felt like other people show me love. So not because of one person comment, I'm going to, change my story around or feel uncomfortable about who I am, where I'm from, and my race.
And very last question to end this session and episode today. Do you think that our conversation right now was useful to our viewers?
Yes, because I think ta-da!
Okay, go on.
I think it was useful for our viewers because some of them probably are going to look to see who Abraham Lincoln is,
Right.
Carter J. Woodson is, Viola this month, if you don't know, she's going to appear on the $10 bank, Justine Augustine, Akiaba, the Ghanaian man, Akiaba Adaisebo, is going to look into it.
Right,
So I think
absolutely.
it was very useful for people that don't know if they're asked by other race what is Black History Month.
That's true.
They can kind of come back, you know, instead of reading. People don't like to read nowadays.
That's
Kind
true.
of have like a fresh. Oh, I saw the video.
Right.
They have kind of have an idea.
I agree.
I wish we could cover more
A bit
people
more,
like
but-
Nelson Mandela that I
Yeah.
so wanted to mention
Absolutely.
and stuff like that. And
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you so much for taking time and being here and sharing this amazing history that I'm sure a lot of people got enlightenment on.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, my pleasure. And thank you guys out there as well for staying tuned with your one and only Tabitha show on Alta TV. I had with me Miss Charlotte from Curvy Diamond, so go ahead and check that out too. We were talking about Black History Month. My name is Tabitha Chibula. Have a good night to you,
Have a good night.
and have a good night to you.